Welcome back to the Way podcast. Woo!
Jeez,
We've got another one in the building. It's going to be amazing. Let's do some intros. Yeah. I'm Xenia.
I'm Jesse.
And we are joined by...
Jonathan.
Way.
You got to give your surname.
Jonathan Beecham. Follow me on Instagram if you want. You get me.
Oh, yeah.
Shameless plug.
Little plug has to be done.
Mate, he loves it. He loves it.
Come on. No, tell us some more. Like, we want to know more about who are you,
Sweet.
what do you do, like...
All right, Whistle Stop Tour, here I am. Born in Bristol, grew up in France, currently a youth worker in a church in west of London.
Wow.
Been here for about 5 years. Love drumming, love video games, love a bit of football, tennis.
Okay.
Chill guy usually, I'd
tennis.
say. Yeah, football, tennis, little combo.
You don't hear that very often.
No?
A little bit of football, tennis. I love that.
Oh, no, football and tennis.
Oh, right.
No, yeah.
I thought you meant like football,
Not
tennis,
both
like the
at the
game,
same
mate.
time.
No,
was like,
it's not like a... Yeah, I'm not
sure.
playing a weird, like, abstract game of, like, football, and it's just football/tennis.
Mate, I'll tell you what, football, tennis on the secondary school court.
Has been done before.
Game
though.
changer.
Definitely
Wow.
a fun
Game
one.
changer.
No, for sure.
That
Wow.
was good. And Jonathan, we're going to start off with the question that we've asked everyone. What is the most embarrassing thing that you've experienced as a teenager?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely had a couple, but one that stands out was GCSE time before we were actually taking the exam. We had like some study sessions for physics specifically.
Ooh.
And so we were in the lab with my physics teacher, and there was also my best friend there, so it was quite easy to get distracted, right? And so it was the timing was awful for me. Funny for everyone else, but just a terrible time for me. He'd asked a question to the class. I was chatting to my friend. He then makes me laugh. And you know when you just laugh super loud? You know when like you have that moment when you just like, maybe your voice goes a little louder than it was normally, but everyone else goes like dead silent because he'd asked a question, no one knew the answer. So class goes silent. My voice rises.
Oh, no.
I'm laughing like a hyena out here. And he just looks at me dead straight. And I just remember like the heat. I was like a radiator. Like I went from like a calm, chill dude to like just like sweating. Heat was madness. Even to the point where my friend was like, damn, bro, like that was bad for you, you know. And I'll be real, I was a bit of a class clown, so I was used to kind of like having that sort of attention, to be honest. But that was just really bad, really awkward, to the point where it stuck with me. That was like solid 8 years ago, but still.
Probably
Wow.
still, are you okay?
I'm just getting through it day by day,
We
man.
can have a time of intercession.
Hey, come on, now, maybe might need that at the end. I can't lie.
We're going to do some quick fire questions.
Sweet.
Just to get to know you a bit better.
Keen, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
we don't know loads about
True.
you. So my first question is, and we've got to do the same thing, back
Okay.
and forth.
Right.
What is your favourite colour?
Colour, baby pink.
What did you have for breakfast?
I don't have breakfast.
What? What? I was gonna. I don't know why my mind went. You know, I'm not even gonna say.
That's tough.
What's your favourite sport?
Football.
Do you have siblings?
Hmm.
Yeah, older brother.
Who do you support?
Chelsea.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Go with the flow.
Worst piece of advice you've ever received?
Don't go with the flow.
Favorite item of clothing?
Ooh, socks.
Serious?
Yeah, seriously.
What type of socks?
Anything that just kind of like matches my personality for the day. And truly, like, I'll pick my socks first and I'll base my whole fit around it.
Wow.
Yeah, fully.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power you putting in socks.
Yeah, man, socks are game changers for real.
There's authority.
If you're not on the wave, go on the wave, man. Socks are different.
Well, Jonathan, if you didn't know already, the theme of this podcast is failing forwards.
Wow.
Which it's quite a beautiful little alliteration.
It's poetic,
You know?
yeah.
Whoever wrote that, I think it was the cameraman. Killing it, mate. Killing
Come on.
it. But yeah, and I guess one of my questions to you is like, what's a moment in your past where you failed but you've learned from it?
Wow. Yeah, that's profound. Sheesh. I think a lot around like expectancy. I think for me, if I'm being honest, I feel like there's been a couple of times where maybe I thought life would go a certain way, or maybe like through conversations with other people, I thought certain things would come about, and this idea of like putting all my eggs in one basket, and I think, and like looking back at it in retrospect, it's like, okay, no, it's good to be grounded. It's good to be, to have like logistically to have different options. But if we're talking like spiritually, to really put our faith in God and make God be our foundation. But I can see how in the past maybe I put my trust in different people or different the potential of different avenues when it comes to life. And so unfortunately back then, but I guess fortunately now, because if I hadn't had failed in that way, then I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So it's all relative, you know what I'm saying? But back then, had I held the whole thing with the right mind frame, probably would have come out a bit better and would have had a lot less heartache in the process. But yeah, I guess like my expectancy and what I thought life would be, and honestly just releasing it to God and be like, you know what, bro, you know what, Gwan, we're gonna run with it. We're gonna run with it. Yeah.
God just charges it. Man.
Charge it, man. That's what I'm saying.
I think we charge it. I don't think God.
No,
charges
God's not.
it.
Yeah, we charge.
Did I misuse that?
Yeah. Right. Good try though.
No, God sees your heart.
Okay,
no, I'm saying you tried.
I'm just a simple Ealing boy.
Charge it, Ealing. I'm joking.
No, that's brilliant. That's a perception I haven't really heard before. Like actually failing on what you expect. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's deep, bro. And Jonathan,
yeah,
what is your ministry that you're passionate about?
Oh, I like that. It's a bit niche, but personally, I mentioned earlier, I'm big into gaming. And I think if one had a little spiritual swing on it, growing up, gaming was actually something that caused a lot of tension in my house because I was at textbook gaming and not doing the homework and not doing like my coursework, and I did GCSE and then IB, and I got decent results, you know what I'm saying? I was like smart enough to like not have to put in a lot of work so I could just like coast it, but I definitely didn't excel. But yeah, relationship with my parents, I mean, there's big love there, but definitely gaming was a point of contention, you know what I'm saying? Wow. And so now being able to use gaming to reach people around the world, to spread the gospel, to build faith-filled communities, and hey, the future's looking bright for that too. Yeah, I don't know. It's a new innovative way to do ministry. I think it's also weird to a lot of maybe older leaders or older generations. So to get them on board is an interesting one too. But hey man, if God's got a plan, I'm sure it will come to fruition. So that's what I do there. A bit of gaming on the side, you know.
A little side.
I love that, bro.
On the side, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I love little sides. Peri chips.
On the side.
On the side, bro.
I don't know about the
Don't
peas.
sleep on the creamy mash.
Creamy mash.
Creamy mash.
I'm a rice and
No,
peas
rice.
combo. Minty peas and
I'm rice
spicy
as well.
rice.
Spicy
Yeah.
rice.
Oh, you know what? I thought there was something.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Shout out to certain food companies that we will not name
I used
unless
to
you
work
want to
there.
sponsor us.
Is it?
If we're talking, oh really? Yeah, better. Big up the sponsor, man. But yeah, I did used to work there. Good company.
Was it
Can't
alright?
lie. It was decent. Yeah, my first job here. Yeah.
Same.
Really? Come on. Energy. I
just
like that.
I can work there for a month.
Hey, give me a
It's
job.
alright.
Give me a job, man.
No, but I was gonna ask because you were talking about like you were saying that the older generation might not understand, like, and I think it's really cool with the way that social media is going now, and there's different types of ministry, and I just wanted to ask, like, just to talk more about like what God is actually doing through gaming and through you, like how is He actually using you in that field for ministry?
Yeah, that's crazy. Great question. I think nothing that's not been done before, in the sense of, at the end of the day, I see gaming as just a tool. So the basics are there, the foundations are there, where it's like it's a group of people, you're building community, but the point of interest is different. For example, let's say you're at church, you're doing youth group, and then after church in the morning, you know, a group of people go and play some football. That's kind of normal, right? You know, a bit of football, Sunday league, you know, football vibes after church. No one would have a problem with that in terms of like a youth ministry or doing stuff. Now just change the setting, change the type of people, and it's gaming, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, watch out. So I think
noise again one time.
You know what I mean? And so it's one of them ones where it's like, yeah, I'm not reinventing the wheel by any means. It's just, I'm just using what I'm passionate about, and I'm just using what I connect with, and hopefully finding other people who are like-minded who also connect with it. And when it comes to like the online space and gaming, I think it has one of the benefits of reaching a lot of the people that are on the fringes as well. Maybe it's the popular kids or the healthy ones or whatever, the people who are into football. Football's got quite like a global like reach, global sphere.
Yeah.
But ironically, I looked at some stats actually, but bit of data for you guys. Currently, there's like, let's say 3.5 billion people who watch football. It's not even play, but like watch it. Think, World Cup, Premier League, all that type of stuff. But in 2024, it's projected there'll be 3.4 billion gamers.
Wow.
So in about, depends when you're listening to this, but in about a year or two, it's looking like there'll be basically the same amount of football watchers and gamers. And the average gamer's age is 35.
Wow.
You'd think it'd be younger, like 35 is the average. It's the average gamer's age. So it's like this isn't even just for like youth ministry necessarily. This is as a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
I believe that as a church, or as a Christian community, we want to reach everyone, right? And so, let's go out there and reach those spaces that maybe normally the church isn't usually involved in. So that's my whole thing. More about the games, bro.
What's like the process of bringing, modern new trends into church and not like staying comfortable in what we know?
Right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because like I can just picture the title of the video. It's like bringing newness into an old church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think when it comes to innovation or like pioneering, as some people call it, or like trailblazing and things like that, it helps if you are in a community, or if you have leaders who back you. And so I'm very blessed to be in the context that I'm in, where I've got my leaders they support me. And it was an idea that I had during the COVID times in like 2020 in lockdown, and we had to find new ways to reach our young people. And I had a PC at the time, and I was like, yeah, man, let's charge it, let's do it. But actually, it's been able to still be fruitful outside of the lockdown season and lockdown period and COVID and that. So it shows me that, actually this is something that's like genuine and something that actually works. And then, there's no surprise when it comes to like technology and stuff, it's a bit expensive. So resources is also needed. And that's not always easy for anyone in their different contexts. So yeah, better resources, but also a lot of the higher ups who are able to release such funds to be like, you know what, I see the vision, I see the potential. And then you just need someone or a group of people who are really passionate about it. Because I can't lie, like there's nothing worse trying to pioneer and do something new if you just don't have the ambition to do it.
Right.
And even within like the gaming sphere, there's some games I don't even like playing. And so when I'm trying to like interact with young people, but I'm playing like, no offense to Minecraft, I'll just say that. No offense to Minecraft. I don't mess with it.
No.
I don't mess with it personally.
Get out.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's just not. It's not my cup of tea.
Terrible. No, hang on. I'm happy for you to sit there and say it's not my cup of tea.
It's not my cup of tea. No. I said it's terrible.
Don't you say it's terrible.
No. I'm saying it's.
Don't you say it's terrible.
I'm saying
getting personal.
it's terrible
It's
that
getting
I
really
don't enjoy it.
It's okay.
All love to the people who play Minecraft. You know what I mean? It's good, and a lot of my young people do. But for me, it's like it's just a struggle to connect with them over that, for example. So being able to do like play the games that I enjoy, do the stuff that I like, just makes it then my job 10 times easier to build a relationship with young people, and then do that whole process of getting them closer to God and all that stuff.
And all that stuff.
Man.
It's brilliant.
That great stuff. Shout out to Minecraft.
Come on. Shout out. Come on.
yeah.
Big up my boys
No
at
joke.
Minecraft, man.
But
Sponsor us.
come on, let's do it.
Yeah,
imagine.
But I feel like it must be kind of hard then if you don't like play certain games to the young people that you're reaching out to. There might be like not a bit of a distance, but like okay, now I need to break into this kind of space. And there might be some kind of tensions because maybe you don't feel comfortable playing certain games. Like I know, like for me, like my mom was always on like, okay, watch what you're playing after a certain time, or if this is rated a certain.
Are you a gamer?
Listen, we dabble.
Come on.
We dabble on the Xbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I said
Okay.
Xbox. Right. I shouldn't have said Xbox.
No, you're good.
No?
No, I'm just
Respect
happy
it,
you got fellow.
Because I know some people don't like PS4, so I just felt
That's
it.
cool, man.
Yeah.
We accept everyone.
Come as
here.
you are,
Yeah.
What games?
Sheesh.
Where do we go? Like, we could do a little FIFA. We can do a little. I love a little Minecraft.
Okay.
There's certain games that I won't say, but like
Like what? What won't you say?
Call of Duty Black.
Black Ops 1, 2, or 3, or 4.
I actually like 2. That's
Two?
actually my
Really?
favorite.
Two's your
Yeah,
favourite?
man.
I was a 3 boy.
Really? I was 2.
No, actually, no. Shout out to number one.
Shout out number 1, man.
But
Tomahawk.
like, the reason why I say that,
To my number 1.
Shout out the First World of War.
World of War. Wow, that's OG. That's
OG,
that's showing your age, Mr. Mr. Cameraman. Cameraman gave us some
but even
stuff.
still, like those games are quite violent. So like my question to you would be like, should Christians should we be engaging in? I mean, it's a bit of a
Juicy.
it's a hot one.
No,
but
this is good.
Should Christians engage in violent games? Like, can we play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Should we?
So if
I
you
feel
go
convicted?
if you go on Google and you Google Christianity and gaming or anything around those lines of like Christianity and gaming, the top 4 links are usually forums and posts around the idea of, can Christians play video games? Is video games evil? Like, what type of games can a Christian play? That type of stuff. So obviously there's a big taboo around this topic, around this idea of gaming. This is where I'm at. I've had some great conversations with different youth workers here in the UK, but also like overseas in the States as well. And you already know that they're a bit more ahead of us, maybe, let's say, in terms of like Europe when it comes to doing ministry and gaming. And for example, with my youth group, we make sure that we play. Fortnite is as violent as we get, which is a rated 12, and that's because we want everyone to feel included. So from our year 7s, year 6, year 7 to our like 11, 12, or up until the year 13s, anyone can get involved. Now in the States, though, I've got a couple of my boys and my people there who actually are engaged in Call of Duty, Valorant, which are Peggy like 16, Peggy 18. And so I'm having that conversation with them. So I'm like, how are you doing this? Like theologically, but then also like parents, how are you making sure you don't have parents on your back? Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
To answer your question, can we play these violent games as Christians? I think it's okay. I think about any other media, films that you watch, any action film, you know what I'm saying? Even like Puss in Boots that was recently released. That boy got a sword and that he's doing some backflips. Like, that's fighting. You know, that's violent.
True.
PG maybe, rated 12. The wolf in that film is a bad man, but like I don't know, there's levels to it.
Bro,
like even James Bond, like Sky, you know, rated.
Yeah.
All these different genres. Like if we're watching films where there's a bit of action and a bit of shooty, swordy, blood, or like music, which is whatever. Like surely a little bit of gaming. But mainly I focus on the community aspect to it. So although maybe these games, and there are some games, don't get me wrong, that I might not venture in yet because I haven't quite sorted it out, like sussed out, okay, how could I do this from a Christian standpoint, just because they are like just quite explicit. But I'm sure there's a way. And the thing about it, bringing it back to scripture, like Jesus was in these areas. You know, Jesus made sure that he was like, he went after the one and he wasn't just chilling in church, but he was out there in the world. So I think that's our job too, man, to be out there in the world, in those spaces that seem a bit dark, but actually, hey man, Jesus, we need to bring the light. We need to be the Jesus in those spaces. So that's my conviction, and that's what we do. So yes, I do think we can play Call of Duty as a Christian.
That's so good.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
I think the thing that scares me slightly with it is like a desensitization.
Sure.
Like, I know when I was 12, I wasn't allowed to play Halo.
It's true. Same.
Halo.
And all my friends were playing it, and I wasn't allowed. And my brother, he's 12, and now
he's allowed.
Well, no, he's not just allowed. Now the 12-year-olds are on Call of Duty.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like over time, it's
funny that parents,
shifted.
huh?
They're like,
Mom, Dad,
yeah, literally.
come on now.
But it's like it's slowly shifting where it's just getting younger and younger.
It's
like,
true.
I watch even like we're talking about explicit stuff such as like violence, but even like I don't know, like nudity. I'm seeing that in a 12.
Yeah,
that means
Instagram's
12-year-olds.
wild, man. TikTok, sheesh.
Yeah, TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like,
So watch out.
is there? And I guess I can now throw this back to you. Is there a problem with desensitization within young people?
That's a great question, bro. Let me think about it this way. I think as Christians, we're called to know our truth in the Bible, to know what Jesus stood for, to know what we stand for, and how we can love God the most, honor Him, but also love our neighbor. That's like the Great Commission, right? And to make disciples of all nations. So I think, but then likewise, let's say we're praying. We want to pray that we're built up and fortified and steadfast in our faith, and that we're able to replicate the ways of Jesus. But also, we can't be numb to culture, and we can't be numb to actually what is happening. So even though maybe globally or as a society things are getting more and more desensitized, which they probably are if you look at the data, we should again be in those spaces. I think this is my personal take. We should be in those spaces and still, act as Jesus would. So finding that balance, and this is where it's really tough to not like partake in such like explicit content, which is gonna like, you know, not bring honor to God. And so an easy way for me to do that is I think of like, okay, if Jesus was in the room right now next to me doing this or writing this or singing this or playing this, how would I feel?
WWJD.
So what would Jesus do, man?
Right.
Come on, keep on it. That's the old school. Come on, you know about that?
Bro,
Yeah?
People had
Come
the
on.
wristbands,
The little,
you know?
like,
Yeah.
Bring that back.
it was like
Bring that back. It's
it was
been
rubber
too
as
long.
well. The
Really?
rubber
Rubber ones.
wristbands.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah.
I was all about the what's the material? Like the
Well, the ones
cloth.
with the string and
Yeah,
stuff.
just the
yeah.
cloth
You're a
one.
cloth boy.
Cloth boy.
Learning so much about you.
Cloth boy, my cloth boy. You know what I'm saying? Easy on and off. But yeah, honestly, like, what would Jesus do? And do I feel comfortable saying this, acting this, playing this? If Jesus was about. And if you're not a Christian, then maybe if your uncle is there too, you know what I'm saying, like a family member, someone like that,
Right.
that make it easier. But yeah, as long as I feel like I'm honoring God in this scenario or this situation. And often we can put like rules and legalism and systems. And I don't feel like Jesus was about that. He kind of broke a couple rules respectfully. Like he did it well. But that can be tough to maneuver too. But actually, if it means if I need to play an 18 rated game, but that allows me to reach that young person, I think, yeah, I bet I'll do it.
And I think as a young leader, it's kind of hard because like we know the Bible tells us that we're in the world, but we're not of the world. So it's like I want to stay true to what I believe, but at the same time, like we're here to crusade the gospel and like actually go into those spaces. And like sometimes what I think about is, you know, in the Bible there'll be times where Jesus is going from city to city and he's healing people along the way. Like he's traveling through. Like he never stays in one place, but on his way through, he's like, oh no, I need to come into this space because somebody needs a healing. Somebody needs to have an encounter with God. And I think like for us, that's what we should be doing. Like not necessarily dwelling in the places that we're not supposed to be in, but passing through and like meeting people that are in that space. And I don't think there's anything wrong with going in, but I think like, should you stay in? I don't think so. I think you have to come out. But when you're going in, like we're supposed to be bringing people out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And to bring it back to innovation real quick, maybe like a full circle of the whole gaming thing. When we think of like the Apostle Paul, who's like a great figure, you know, wrote most of the
Come
Bible
on.
and stuff. He was innovative in his preaching styles. I think, and don't quote me on this, do your own due diligence. I might have gotten this a little wrong.
Allegedly.
So don't come at me if it's completely off. But I do believe that in Paul's like early ministry, he was actually using like the gods and the prophets that the people in the village knew already. So he wasn't necessarily proclaiming Jesus, but he was using like what the people already knew, their culture, as an example to reach them and to eventually talk about Jesus. So again, that was like innovative, that was pioneering. He knew his context, he knew his culture, so that he knew the type of language needed to best speak to the people there. So just backing up the innovation, the pioneering. Hey, you want to start a knitting club? Want to start a knitting club, but you know, talk about Jesus and stuff? By all means, bro. There's ways.
And I think the thing is
Big up the knits.
I think being exposed to things isn't actually a new thing.
Yeah.
Like you think of Corinth in the Bible. And, like,
Right.
there's literally like prostitutes in church. In church.
Truth.
And I think when you think of Jesus, like you said, like he goes into all these different spaces, but he left. But also what happened is when he went into those spaces, his character didn't shift.
Yeah, he was
That's
said
true.
exactly. He knew who he was.
That's
And
so
I
good.
think like if for us as young leaders, like we can step into these spaces, but if we get a whiff of us being influenced inward rather than outward, we got to get out.
Right.
That's
know
a
what I mean?
bar. That's
And
a
so
bar.
like sure there's
Wow.
there's ways of cutting it off before there's even a chance.
Wow.
And there's wisdom to that. But you wouldn't reach that person
Exactly.
if you didn't step in.
But also know your boundaries. Like, honestly, like, do you know
Yes.
what you're capable of? Because like you said, there's some people, and I know there's some things where I'm like, okay, like I need to be wise about this. If I haven't spent time in my secret place, if I haven't got my church community, my mentors, the people around me that enrich me day in, day out, it's like the armor of God, right? You put on the armor before you go into battle.
That's right.
So the idea is like you're not there, you're not in the fight already. And you're like, hang on a minute, let me put on my breastplate of right, like. Bro, you should have done that beforehand. And so it's like, okay, before you go into those spaces and going into the gaming world, it can be very toxic. It can be very anti-Christ, not of God. And so before I venture, before I do my stream, before I do my content online, before I engage with people online, I want to make sure that I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But if I feel like actually, I'm slipping, I'm losing myself, there's nothing wrong about, retreating. We've got to retreat and do our thing.
Recalibrate.
That's what
Literally.
I'm
Jesus retreated.
Most definitely.
And I think it's so good what you said, like, to have people, whether it's other leaders or like mentors or friends, to help you
it's needed.
ground you. Like, even when Paul went to these different cities, when he went to Corinth, when he went to Galatia, he went with people. He didn't
Yeah,
go by himself.
sure.
Like, he would have Silas, or he had Timothy, or there was always, like, all the early church apostles, they never went somewhere by themselves. Like, they always went with somebody else. And like, I think that's so important, to have that community, to have your own community while you go out into other communities. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think, that's so good. That's gold right there.
I love that.
Let's go,
Yeah.
man. Come on now. Glory to God.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us on that. That was a whirlwind. That was special, bruv.
Hey, you're welcome. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something from it, you know?
Yeah, man. I did. So,
Hey, me too, man.
But,
It's good. It's good vibes.
yeah, guys, thanks for watching. There'll be some more special guests coming up, so do make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned. It's exciting. And yeah, we'll see you soon.
See ya. Bye.